Good morning, everyone. Working, Jeff? There we go. I can hear it. Perfect. Make sure we... All right. Well, welcome to Novi, Michigan. I know a lot of you drove in, flew in. Is it a little bit loud? No? Okay, very good. And we even had some folks... what time did you guys get into Chicago? GSG. Their flight was canceled, so they drove all night. So those are the folks you get to throw the little candies at. You know those little candies you have there as they drowse off on us? No, thanks for making it, you guys. All right. I'm Grant Howard. A lot of familiar faces, a lot of people I know, a lot of new faces as well. Welcome to 3 days of inventory management. A lot of you, when you got approached with, you're going, 3 days of inventory management. What are we going to do? Don't worry, we've got margaritas and daiquiris. No. All right. Now, you'll be surprised what we end up doing in that 3 days and what you walk away with. The lay of the land is the first day we're going to do a big picture. All right, so we won't get into your systems too much. A little bit of setup to use them, but mostly going through why inventory management is important to our company, how it feeds back into the company objectives, what the company objectives are, because I go into a lot of companies, there's even confusion around that. What are we trying to work as a team to accomplish? So that will be today, and then we'll get into the inventory model today. Then what we're going to do, so that'll give you a good understanding of how we do inventory management to deliver two overall things. What are the two things we're trying to deliver at any company? First thing you're always thinking of is what?
Customer satisfaction.
Okay, customer satisfaction. We're seeing this shift. Profitability. And again, we've seen that. If we were back in, a number of years ago, profitability would be the first one to come up and would be the first one really everyone thinks about, and they don't even think beyond that. We've really brought customer experience. As the world's got more competitive, we've realized there's two ways you can go out and compete. You can go out and be what? The lowest price. All right? That's a tough world to be in. That just says we offer the same products and services as our competition. There's no real distinction to our customers. So therefore, who's going to get the business? Whoever's the lowest price. And eventually, one's going to keep pricing out the other. Anyone work with Amazon? You know what I'm talking about, all right? It's going to be whoever's the lowest price, and eventually one's going to go under because you can't live in a price war. Then there was a bunch of distributors that realized this, and they came together and they started saying, what about if we go out and make a distinction and we sell stellar customer experience, all right? If we have a stellar customer experience, distinctive over our competition, still want to make money, but that's going to pull those customers back to us. And they're even willing to what? Pay us for it as long as it's distinctive and we're not gouging them. And we'll cover through that. So again, where I'm going with that is we're going to take this inventory model and bring it back to how it feeds three company objectives, but the two we're talking about right now is customer experience and profitability. How do we deliver a wow to our customers and be as profitable as we can while we do it? Everyone good and on board? Perfect. In case I didn't say, I don't think I have yet, I'm Grant Howard. Just to make sure that you're in the right place. There's another one. Half of you were trying to go down the hall, and half of theirs were trying to get into our room. Selena, are you in here? She's not in here yet. She's helping me out today. I don't know what the session is next door. I was going to see. Some of you may go, we're going to move on down. All right. We've also got Jeff Pask on production videos. We video this, all right? And again, you'll see Courtney over here. Derek's over here. We've got Jeff and Dan in the back. And what Courtney and Derek and Selena later will help out is when we ask questions, we want to make sure and capture that because we are taping this. And what we do with this, we put it on the DVDs. We ask how many people would like the DVDs. We take the cost of what it took to produce it, just divide it by how many people, and put it out. It's usually around $375 to $400. So it's not a money-making thing for us. What it came from, probably about 6 or 7 years ago, people would come and say, it was a great session, but I want to go back and relive some of that. There's sections I want to go back and see again. So we started taping them as a result. But anyway, so the mics are to try to get your questions, because there's nothing worse than watching something and you can't hear the question that was asked, just the answer. So if you can raise your hands if you got a question, they'll get the mic to you. I've got a mic, and we'll do it that way. All right, so best practices inventory management, stellar customer service at the lowest cost to serve, driving profits, service, and growth to the next level, Okay, again, impact of inventory management. And today, we'll gear a lot around what order points, line points, and EOQs are, what they do, how we develop them, and how we use them well, and how we know when they're broken. How many people are using their inventory system today that they think fairly well? I mean, let's define fairly well. In today's world, because there's different definition there. Yes, it is. In today's world, if we feed it good data from our company. Now, who's feeding the data to our inventory system? Let's just make sure. What's the main component of any inventory system? Usage. What are we going to use? Because that's where everything starts. And where do we get usage from? From the sales side of the environment, okay? So somewhere along the line, they've got to be pulled in, and we'll talk about that. And then there's lead times. So we're taking this data, applying good parameters, developing good order points and line points, then letting your system suggest POs and possibly even cut them. So when I say, how well are we using our systems today? How many are letting their system do 90% of the work today as far as getting all the way to the point that it's suggesting a PO in front of you? There's 20 lines on this PO, and you take a few minutes to dabble down it to make sure it's reasonable, and you push the button and let it go. We call them 23-second POs. Anyone that's worked with me before or heard me, we talk about, Julie, 23-second POs, right? Uh-oh, you can tell that Texas, yes, sir. All right. How many, just a raise of hands again? Not many. That's to give you a little bit of foresight of where you could be with your inventory management system. It can work on probably about 93 to 96% of the items you carry. If you feed it properly and set it up properly, that it can go out and do most of the work to deliver a stellar customer experience at the lowest cost to serve. Okay. What's that rattling I'm getting, Jeff?
I'm not sure.
Because I'm not touching it. Is it one of these other mics? If we can try to get that out, that'd be good. So, getting results. I'm not going to go through all of this, all right? This is a little bit about my company. Oh, and just before I get there, you should have gotten 4 things this morning. The book, I see everyone's looking at the book. Should have got a badge, a necklace to go with it, and then one single page of all the attendees that are here. Then something else, I'll get it started right now. We sent out both presentations. The second one was large enough that a lot of your servers did not let it come through. I sent it out a second time even as a zipped. So I said, we're going to quit struggling with this. I loaded it onto 2 flash drives this morning. I'll start anyone that didn't get the second or even the first presentation. I load them both on here. So again, I'll start sending these around, or if you didn't bring your computer with you today, we can get it to you. If you didn't bring your computer at all, we'll figure out a way to get it to you. All right? You don't need it for this session. You can see the book will work well for you. You can take notes. But does anyone need this, that they want to get these this morning? Anyone else? And again, just pass them around, ask for them. Again, they were just a little bit large. Sorry, we'll work on that scratch, you guys. I'm not sure what that is. It's not coming from here, Jeff. We'll wait. We'll wait for a break. You think it's this mic?
Yeah. I think something's interfering in the building.
Okay. So, getting results. And again, here's the 3 things. Taking profitability, longevity, and growth to the next level. We will gear everything around that as we go through all the way from the big picture, all the way down to the detail of pushing the button to cut the PO or transfer. That's what we'll be thinking about. Are we being most profitable? What's the longevity of our company? We've already talked about it a little bit. That's our customers. That's what keeps us in business the long haul. So the customer experience and, of course, growth. You can read through the rest of these. I'm not going to take the time. You got that? I'm going to jump down to this bottom part of what we do. We talk about profitability, longevity, i.e. customer experience, and growth. And how do we balance those? Because in many companies, are those balanced? We've now got where executive teams go, oh yeah, we want to be profitable. Oh yeah, customer experience is important in supporting growth. But yet, I'll see them still send out what I'll call unbalanced directives to the firing team, the folks out doing the work. And what's one of those objectives in the inventory world I often see go out unbalanced? They just came from the bank, we've hit the line of credit, or they're looking at turns. That's a term that most of you go, oh yeah, turns, we get that one, inventory investment. And they'll come out and say, you know, our turns are too low. We have too much inventory. We're up against our line of credit, and we need to do what with inventory? We need to reduce inventory. So that objective goes out. When I start seeing the smiles and the giggles, that just tells me we're starting to touch into your reality already. All right, and that's what this is about. So they send out this objective, slow down the inventory, bring it down. And what does our buyers, inventory managers do with that objective? They stop buying. They slow down buying. All of a sudden, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, who's knocking on the president's door? Someone from the sales side, and they're saying what? Yeah, what's going on with our customer experience? We're having all these stockouts, right? What would have been a balanced objective that came from management? We need to reduce inventory, but not affect what? Customer experience, and that would have put us into a whole different world. We now can't stop buying what we need. We can get rid of what we don't need and buy smarter if we want to sustain the customer experience. Is that making sense with everyone? So again, there's part of this we need management to hear, and there's part of this you got to take back and say, how do I balance these two worlds? So profitability, longevity, and growth, it's in management's job to put balanced objectives out to create a team. How many of you feel you have a team environment? And this is just me getting you thinking, because I know some of you are from California. It's going, man, it's 6 o'clock, so I'm just trying to get your brains loosened up a little to go here. All right? What creates a team in a company? How many of you feel like you have a good team approach within your company? Okay. Not a bunch of hands. I mean, look around. Now, here's what I think a team. What creates a team is we have one set of objectives we're all trying to accomplish. What creates a baseball team? I was sitting there working last night. The ball game was on. Louisville was playing. But a team is they all want to win the game. They all have the same objective. What happens when a particular player wants to break a record or someone on the team has a different set of objectives than the team? Sometimes goes astray. Everyone with me? All right, so that team objective. Now, how do you know if you have a good team approach? This is how I can tell very easily. I spend 80% of my time in distributors helping them. And when a problem comes up, yesterday, one of our larger customers, we misshipped something, didn't get it to them on time. So the salesperson comes in the morning, and of course they've either got the message, the email, something there that says, hey, we went astray yesterday with customer such and such. So right away they've gotten pretty savvy on the system. They start looking in, they spend an hour in there figuring out why it went astray yesterday. Now, there's two things we can do with that. They just figured out what went wrong. In a non-team company, what's that all for? So the salesperson can come over and go, oh, it was purchasing, didn't get it bought in time. Oh, it was the warehouse, didn't get it out on time. Oh, our delivery truck delivered. You guys with me? It was the point of finger, and then what happens tomorrow? The same thing happens over again. All right? A team environment would say, hey, we discovered what went wrong. Let's go back and find where the root issue was, address that as a team, make it go away so it doesn't happen again tomorrow. So now, just with that analogy out there, that definition, how many think they have a good team environment where they're working together to solve yesterday's issues? A little more in there. That's nice. Very good. Okay, so management's job to set balanced objectives to create a team. Then we have to plan, execute, and measure. We'll talk about how important measurement is. I go into many companies and they don't measure fill rate. They don't measure on-time delivery. They don't measure, well, most of them measure turns today. All right? How many are measuring customer fill rate? How many feel customer experience is very important in today's world? How do you connect those two worlds of the hands that just went up and dent where, God, it's really important, but what's the number one measurement your customers have in their mind about you? Do you have what they want? Second one, can you deliver it on time? The third one, is it accurate? Did we ship them the right product, the right quantity at the right price? Those three together are the perfect order, but again, I go into many companies that aren't measuring those. We'll talk about how to measure customer experience. Processes, education, technology. It's very important that we have good processes in place, take advantage of our technology, and educate our people how to do it. Most companies still today do not have a very good formalized education program. How many of you have a formalized education program for your folks within your company? Very few. So how do we go do this? Oh, we just brought in a new receiver, right? And Bill's our new receiver, and Frank's been back there for 22 years. He's getting ready to retire, and what do we do with Bill? We put Bill next to Frank for 3 hours or a day, whatever it is, and all the good things that Frank's done over the years, they learn. All the bad habits that Frank has learned over the years, they learn. And we do what I call osmosis training. If you're not from biology side, osmosis is where you put the two cells together and they merge into one. That's what we're doing with a lot of our education programs. There's nothing documented, there's no procedures written, and it's just kind of this feeding off to the next person, and things get what? Diluted, complicated. We get a lot of emotional things that go on with that. So again, a good set of procedures. Make sure you're understanding how your technology works for you as a tool, and then educating your people. And then the last one, accuracy, consistency, and efficiency. That's the end goal. I go into a lot of companies. We start here with the executive team. We work through profitability, longevity, and growth, set their objectives, make sure management's on board, setting balanced objectives to create a team. We make a plan, we execute, we measure results to make sure we're getting the objectives that we set. We make sure we're giving people the right processes, tools, and the education to do what we're expecting. And in the end, we're looking to accomplish accuracy, consistency, and efficiency. Well, that wraps up the day, everyone. I'll see you in the morning. All right. Does that make sense, that path of everyone? All right, that's what we do. So our session today, we're going to talk about company objectives. We're going to talk about the inventory model, when, what, and how much. Then we're going to move into some of the detail. First, what we stock, replenishment paths, a little bit about usage, ranking, and then the big part of the inventory world. When do we need to replenish? What do we need to replenish? And how much do we need to replenish? Then we'll talk about a few miscellaneous things, wrapping up our day, and then we'll wrap up with a summary to get ready for tomorrow. All right? A few things, just a reminder. Schedule. We've got a break this morning at 9:30. We've moved everything slightly up because last year we were a little bit tight. So, and what we did also was gave 2 breaks in the afternoon instead of 1 because it was a long sit. So what we've got is a break at 9:30, 15-minute break. We're going to take a lunch at 11:30. We're going to take another break in the afternoon at 2 o'clock, and then we'll take another break at 3:45. All of them 15 minutes break. So over about an hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes at a shot in here that we'll be sitting together. All right? Tonight, we'll have a reception. There's a reception going on. I don't have anyone from the hotel, but over by the lobby, there's a little room over by the barn in the lobby. We're going to get out here between 5 and 5:30 tonight. We've got some drinks over there, beer and wine. We've got some hors d'oeuvres. I get everyone about 2 beers. You know, some of you will have, or 2 drinks. I'm trying to keep you responsible, put some food out there. There'll be enough for everyone, but please join us at around 5 o'clock. It's good networking. Meet some people. Have a couple hors d'oeuvres. It won't feed you dinner, so still keep your dinner plans, okay? It's just to kind of get together and wrap up today. Then tomorrow, there's a little Mexican restaurant right next door here on the border. I'll also set it up so we can go over there because last year they said, let's have one more get together. It was nice. So again, now their drinks are on your own, but I ordered a bunch of hors d'oeuvres, appetizers. We can go over there for an hour tomorrow after, or an hour and a half, just get together and chat a little bit. You've got an attendee list. There may be some people you want to talk to. So join us for both receptions if you can. Thursday lunch. Now, a lot of you email back, but let me just get a quick hand count. How many will not be here Thursday for lunch? Either you're only here today or you're leaving before lunch on Thursday. Now, let's get a final count. Raise them high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 10. So 10 less. Just so you know, what goes on Thursday after lunch is we have a Q&A. We open it up, and it's become very powerful the last 3 or 4 years. It's just things you want to talk about. We're actually going to have Tim Plotner from SX, or from the Infor side on the fact side, Jim Kirk if you're on A+, Kirch on the A+ side, and Jim Brown for the SX side. They're going to WebEx in with us as well, if we can pull off the technology. We're still trying to figure this one out a little bit. But to have them WebEx in with us, we can look at the demo systems, we can ask questions, so on and so forth. That'll be Thursday. put out a survey. We like to get our survey back. It helps us improve it. I mean, I love to hear all the good things that we did, but I also like if you got any suggestions that this would improve the program, add things to it, that type of thing. You see there's on the front sheet, one of your front sheets, there's a bunch of terms and definitions. If there's anything I missed, we always find a couple that aren't in there. Go ahead. I use a lot of abbreviations. Put it in that survey. Anyone that's leaving today or you're leaving early, get with me and let me get you a survey if I could. I'll do it at lunchtime, no problems, or see Selena. If you're leaving early on Thursday, we'll get it to you because we normally do it after lunch on Thursday. But we'd love to get the surveys back. We talked about our recording the session and that we'll have a set of DVDs. It takes us about 2 weeks to get everything burned off, put on the DVDs. I had a set of them up here. I put them away already. Question and answer. We need to take a minute and talk here. There will be a lot of questions that come up. Now, a lot of those will get addressed as we go through. You're just 2 steps ahead, all right? I like to have questions and answer them, okay? But we have to also watch our time. So here's what I'm asking. If the question's specific to the area that we're covering, please ask it, all right? If you were getting out there a little bit and it's about our company and 15 years ago this happened and we changed presidents and then this objective, you guys are following me. If it's one of those longer stories, those bigger questions, try to save it for our Q&A or offline sometime. Please don't take me wrong if when you're done with the question I go, "Gal, that's one of those long ones. Let's table that and put it on the deck until Thursday." Is everyone good with that? But at the same time, please ask your questions. I don't want you to walk away confused. I want you to understand the areas that we're talking about. Okay. So keep them specific to the area of discussion. We'll use the microphone. I want to go hit lunch with you guys. You can hit me up before the breaks, but at lunchtime I'll ask that we all head to lunch. So when we break for lunch, save your questions for after lunch. Every time we come back for our break, I'll ask, are there any questions? But don't run up at everyone and hit me right before lunchtime or we'll be there for 45 minutes and I'm not a happy person when I didn't get my lunch. No, I'm kidding you, but you guys know what I mean. Okay. Uh-oh, this one's bold. It's becoming more and more of an issue in our sessions. The cell phones, the texting, and the laptops. Surprising, not too many laptops here today. That's nice. But again, I know if you have to take that phone call, you got to talk with someone, please step out of the room. Last year we actually had quite a few comments on it. We had a couple people trying to work at their seat while they're doing it. They're on the phone, they're texting, they're doing the computer, and it did become distracting. A, you're not getting what you should out of the session, but B, the person next to you is also not getting what they want. So again, please try to be mindful of that and step out if you can, if you need to do any of those type of things. The abbreviation sheets, if I missed anything, everyone see the abbreviation sheets, probably your 3rd page in, okay? I use a lot of abbreviations. Right away, when I get writing up here, anyone that has seen me before, my writing is not the best, all right? I'll try to use abbreviations on you because sometimes my spelling's not the best either. And again, you'll find out I probably should have been a doctor writing prescriptions rather than working a whiteboard. My writing or my speech, now I'm from Michigan. I grew up about an hour away from here. People are going, oh, I didn't catch what that accent was. That accent that I have, because you're going, Michigan doesn't have an accent really. It's that Midwest. It's just lazy speech, everyone. Grew up in the country. My didn't will be didn't. If you're one of those that get the spelling right, that's D-I-N-T, all right? I go fishing, I don't go fishing. But again, where I'm going with this is if I put something on that board that you can't read, if I say something you can't understand, I've heard it before, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Say, hey, Grant, what was that? Hit us with that one more time, all right? So again, you're not going to hurt my feelings whatsoever. Just to make sure, I know I've got some other systems in here. You can see we've got some A+ users. We've got some shims. We've got some Touchstone. Danzig, I think, is, yep, Tom, I saw here. But for the main part of this, when we get tomorrow and the next day, FACS 7.8 GUI and SX 3.1 GUI is what you're going to see. For the folks that are on A+, it's almost exactly the same. I even brought some things we can look at if you need to. All of this lines up, and here's where I'm going. People will go, oh, Grant's on the FACS screen right now and we're SX. I don't have to pay attention. Oh, Grant's on the SX and we're on FACS. We don't have to pay attention. They are the same, all 3 of these systems today. A+, FACS, and SX. There's little differences, but they basically all drive with the same advanced inventory management. And the way I like to equate this today is, when you went to the rental car, if you went there, did you get a Ford or a Chevy? You might be used to driving a Chevy and the blinker's on the left side and the Ford's on the right, but you still knew you were looking for the blinker. It still does the same thing. You guys with me? The controls might be a little different. The radio might be in a different position. It might say AC, it might say air conditioning, but they work the same. I would take the time, no matter what system we're on, because we're explaining it, it's the same. You have the same setups in your system, all three of them. You utilize it the same way. All right, so don't go off on when we talk about the other system. Our A+, we don't have any screenshots, but it's still, Dave up in the front, he's been here, the screens are the same. He did a presentation, we did one together in DC, he did it and I sat in. But by the time we got going, we had A+ people there, a lot of them, but we also had Fax and SX, and they said the same. They go, oh, doesn't matter now. Again, the screens are different. You're talking about a Chevy, I drive a Ford, but I still know what you're talking about when you say the accelerator or the gas pedal. We still know what you're talking about whether you say the brake. We still know that you're talking about the blinker. All right, so you've got